The room had been decorated to resemble the interior of a sailing ship. It was disturbingly effective. It was one of those old pens made out of a feather. That might come in useful in ticklish situations. The top surface of the desk had a large recessed area set into it. I guessed it was intended to stop things rolling off in heavy seas. There was also an inkwell and the small hole where the quill had been. That looked like that's where it was supposed to be, so I left it there. It was an actual pirate ship chart. Okay, I've had my hands on an historical document. Now what? The chart fitted exactly into the recess on the top of the desk. Captain Frederick Ketch, 1570. Around his neck was a cross. Maybe he was a part-time pirate.
Two bells and all's well.
Pirates were cool. It was a ship's bell. Maybe that wheel was from Ketch's ship. Suddenly, I was 12 years old again.
Hard a port, bosun. Aye, aye, Captain Stobart. She cannot take it, Captain. The lad's dead. Abandoned ship.
It was an old wooden barrel. Maybe it was from Ketch's ship. It was a shiny and very sharp-looking pirate's cutlass. It would have been easy to reach the cutlass and slip it in my pocket. It would also have been the most regrettable action of my life. Yow! I should have known better than to put my hand in there. Grandma Stobart had a nasty experience in a water butt once. It was an old book with spidery writing covering the open pages. March 20th, 1670 fix. Engaged frigate off Fan Salvador? It was garbage. Huh, I guess being a pirate didn't require too many academic qualifications. The passage went on to describe how Ketch had got wind of the approach of a fleet of English ships. It seemed the new governor had not shared his predecessor's views on Ketch's activities. They were out for his blood. Sailed to that place where I made secure my fortune. I returned safe in the knowledge that the governor shall not discover that which I had hidden. For is it not writ that 'tis easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle? It was a beautifully crafted model of a sailing ship. The ship looked too fragile to touch. It was a neat oil lantern made of brass. Holding that lantern, I felt kinda biblical. Like Jesus or Florence Nightingale. The lantern fitted so precisely in the inkwell, it could only be deliberate. It was Captain Ketch's sea chest. Its battered appearance hinted at salty tales of maritime adventure and swashbuckling. Long months at sea with a rum-sodden, mutinous crew, hardtack and scurvy. And this chest, full to the brim with Ketch's loot, pearls, diamonds, emeralds, and doubloons. On the other hand, it could have been full of spare blankets.
Surprise!
What the? Who are you?
I'm Emily.
What were you doing in there, Emily?
Hiding. What are you doing here?
Grown-up stuff.
Grown-ups? Pfft, I'm never gonna grow up, I'm not. You shouldn't be here. What's your name?
I'm George.
Pleased to meet you, Jaws.
George.
Jaws,
Jeez.
make your mind up.
What can you tell me about Captain Ketch?
That's him on the wall, in the picture.
Yeah, I know. Scary-looking guy, huh?
He was my great-great-great-great-grandfather.
Yeah, you have his eyes. Why don't you go play with Rio?
I'm not allowed.
How come?
'Cause Aunt Frost says I'm not allowed out of the house. That's why, Mr. Nosybeak.
Too bad. Why don't you ask your other aunt if you can play with Rio?
Aunt Mina's cuckoo. Aunt Frost says so. She says when the Lord handed out common sense, Aunt Mina was off getting double portions of chin.
That Rio's a smart kid. He helped me outwit Bronson.
Rio is clever. He can spit ever so far.
I bet you can't keep this piece of coal in your mouth for the next half hour.
Could too. I could keep it in my mouth for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah? Go on then. Prove it.
Don't want to. And if you try to make me, I'll tell Aunt Mina.
Look, an ancient Mayan stone.
Is that a magic stone?
Well, I don't know about that.
No.
That cross you're wearing, Emily,
It's my lucky Jesus cross.
it's just like the one Captain Ketch wore.
Uh-huh.
Can I borrow it?
Uh-uh.
What would you trade for that cross, Emily?
A puppy.
Well, I don't happen to have a puppy in my pocket right now. Can you think of anything else you'd trade?
Don't know.
Would you like to play darts?
No.
Oh, come on. I'll throw, you catch.
That's dangerous. Darts will stick in me and make me bleed.
Do you know how to use a theodolite?
We don't learn anything about surveying at my school. Not until 5th grade.
What do you give to a small, irritating girl who asks about everything?
Try a conch. Delicate colors, interesting shape, and when you put it to your ear, you can hear the sea.
Yeah, why's that?
Usually because you're standing next to it.
Cool. Have you got one?
Yeah, but I promised it to my sister. She well vexed with me.
Why is your sister mad with you?
Well, last night, when I got home with our supper, she went wild. Rio, she said, how come all you ever catch is puffer fish? A sicker puffer fish. What I want is tiger fish. So don't bother come back home till you catch one, boy. I don't see how I'm gonna catch no tiger fish. All I have is a fishing pole and a worm.
What do you need to catch a tiger fish?
One of them real fancy flies like the rich fishermen use.
Any use for a quill?
What's a quill?
It's what people used to write with in Captain Ketch's days.
No, man. I'd sooner be fishing.
It was the quill I'd found in the Ketch Museum. The cat made short work of the feather, tearing it into a blizzard of small pieces. I wasn't going to risk further laceration by the cat's claws. The novelty value of having an inner tube in my pocket had worn off. I left it there. Hey, this is just what you need to make a fly.
Thanks. Let's hope them tiger fish hungry. A deal's a deal. Here's a conch.
It was the conch shell that Rio had given me. Why don't you run along and play?
Aunt Mina told me, stay out of mischief.
Well, that doesn't mean you have to stay indoors, does it? On a beautiful day like today?
There's a storm coming.
Oh, nuts. You don't know that.
I do so. I can see the whole world from the window.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm busy. Here, I've got a conch. Would you like it?
Dunno. Aunt Frost told me never to take presents from strange men.
I'm not a strange man.
Then why are you called Jaws, Jaws? That's a stupid name.
I'm not called... Look, conch, pretty. Swap for the cross, yes or no? Right, this thing's going out the window.
Okay, we'll do swapsies.
Ketch's crucifix was encrusted with precious gems. Ketch's cross slipped snugly into the penholder.
What you doing, Jaws?
I've put your cross in this little hole in the desk.
Why?
Impulse mainly, with a dash of irrational intuition.
Silly. Only women have intuition.
The lantern cast a strong light over the desktop. The light cast a shadow of the cross. And the shadow fell precisely over a small, unnamed island shaped like a skull. That must be it. Ketch's Treasure Island.
Uh-oh. That's Zombie Island. It's a bad place.
No kidding? Well, bad place or not, that's my next port of call.
Can I come too?
The hell you can.
I never get to leave the house.
Would you take me to, Zombie Island?
In this weather? You're mad, man.
The rain will keep the zombies indoors. Just say I did meet a zombie. What would you do?
There ain't no zombies on Zombie Island. At least, not anymore. It's uninhabited.
Good. What do you mean, not anymore?
You still want to go?
I guess.
Well, I ain't had no luck with them tiger fish. And with the mood my sister is in, I'll be safer with the zombies.
So, this was Zombie Island. Somehow I'd been expecting something more sinister.
Come on, Rio. Let's find that treasure.
No, thanks. I'm staying right here.
Oh, come on. You said yourself there's no zombies left.
Yeah, but that was while there was a big pile of seawater between me and this place. All me have now is this little bit between the boat and the shore, and I'm hanging on to it.
Rio's boat was strewn with fishing nets and tackle. The outcrop was about the only feature on the cliff face. It was too high. I couldn't get up there.
That Emily sure asks a lot of questions.
Resic, man, this whole Emily business just isn't funny.
Look, we're obviously at cross purposes here. I'm talking about Emily Ketch.
Yeah, and so am I. She was my friend. Her aunts hated it, but we did move together, you know. She used to be real keen at hide and seek. It could take hours to find her. One time, the last time, it took days. She must have shouted and screamed herself hoarse, but there was nobody to hear her.
Where'd she hidden herself?
Captain Ketch's old sea chest. The only way to open it was from the outside.
Suddenly, I didn't feel so good. We never exchanged another word about Emily Ketch.
Could I borrow your net?
Yeah, man, no problem. You planning on catching some fish?
Nope. I'm after a big rock. Well, here I go. Wish me luck, Rio.
Good luck, George. Watch out for the walking dead.
I stumbled down dark stairwells for what seemed like forever, until suddenly I found myself, wow, in an abandoned London Underground station. This place must have been closed down decades ago. The machine wasn't about to weigh me for nothing. The cup was empty. The machine needed to be fed a coin before it would operate. The machine looked like it had sold its last ticket a long time ago. It was an old ticket machine. A sign read, "Tickets 3D." I'd probably break my neck if I climbed over the sleepers, or worse, a heel. A pile of old railway sleepers was blocking the platform. It was a maintenance cupboard. The poster was advertising a play I'd never heard of. The date on the poster was before I was born. It was an old map of the London Underground. It looked just like the modern one. A latch lock stopped me getting into the cupboard. The blade of the dagger just fitted between the door and the soft wood frame. The door gave slightly and then held firm. There was nothing very useful in my bag, just a single hair clip. A latch lock stopped me getting into the cupboard. The hair grip was too thick to fit into the crack. The blade of the dagger was too thick to get into the narrow crack. It was a hair clip. It was the obsidian dagger I'd borrowed from the British Museum. I guess when all this was over, I'd have to return it. My fingers were too big to reach into the tiny crack. It was the obsidian dagger I'd borrowed from the British Museum. The blade of the dagger was too thick to get into the narrow crack. The machine wasn't about to weigh me for nothing. The slot was much too thin for my fingers. The blade was too thick for the narrow slot. I pushed the hair clip into the slot and whatever was stuck there disappeared into the machine. I pulled out an old English penny. I put the old penny into the slot, the needle twitched rustily and the machine spat out a card. I remembered my student days when I regularly forgot my house keys. A wiggle with the thick card between the frame and the lock, and the latch lifted. The train was my ride out of there. I could worry about not having a ticket when I got to the docks.
Oh. A clump of reeds grew out of the stinking swamp. It was a stagnant swamp. Nothing, I mean nothing, would possess me to step into that swamp. There was something in that hole beneath the rock. As soon as I stooped to investigate the hole, its inhabitant disappeared into the darkness. The end of the reed had been neatly bitten off. Now I knew what was living in there. A long-toothed, snarling, furry wild thing. The reed was a lot shorter since that creature had savaged it. The woods seemed to go on forever. It was a stout, overhanging branch. The dart fitted snugly into the reed. Great. I was tooled up and dangerous. If I jumped, I could just about reach the branch. Climbing the tree wasn't going to help any in this situation. The creeper just came away from the rock as I pulled it. The marker clipped firmly onto the net. Great. I'd created some sort of creeper marker fishing net assembly. Sometimes I terrify myself with my creative genius. I'd successfully got the marker into a position near the top of the needle simply by using the kind of lateral thinking that can get you institutionalized. Initials had been carved into the rock. Initials carved into the stone read F.K. Frederick Ketch had been here. 3 shallow holes had been made in the rock. Joining the dots would make an equilateral triangle. The hill I was on had reminded me of a camel's hump as I'd climbed up it. Now I had to see what I could see. It was the marker which I had raised up the needle of rock. I could see the marker I had fastened on the rock down in the forest, and right in line with it, the rock I was looking for.
Hey everyone,
Thank you so much for watching,
and if you enjoyed this, don't forget to leave us a like, comment and subscribe.
and click on that pop-out box for the next video.
Cut and printed! That was brilliant, folks! Okay, the next scene is down on the beach. This is where Hawkins finds the treasure in the Cave of the Crabs.
Would those be giant